Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host, PK, and I want to thank everybody for joining us at a different time for this evening. We wanted to accommodate our fabulous guest. He is an expert and author, Matthew Johnson, Ph.D. He is with us tonight. We're going to bring him on in just a couple of minutes. But, PK, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Looking forward to our show tonight. What a wonderful guest we have to share with everyone.
No
kidding. I was taking a look at some things today, and since we are in October, it is the Boss Month. We'll just call it the Boss Month because it's about taking responsibility for your life and letting others live theirs. Isn't that a nice thought for a change?
It's a nice one.
We're preparing for and wanting everybody to be in charge of their own issues. And the 8 says it's about our money, it's about being in control or wanting to control things. But there's a lot of good stuff that can come out of it. So it's time to take a good look at what's about to take place, not be lazy, because if we do, we're going to miss the chance, because 8 deals with our money, our investments and things of that nature. So by taking a look at things in a positive way, we could build a little bit and put it in the bank, shall we say, for good stuff to use later. But don't let it become a problem, because if you do, you're going to set yourself up to lose instead of gain. It's a year that we want to be in charge and allow ourselves to do it properly. There's got to take a look at your birth certificate if you have to know where you were born. Take a look at your name at birth. All those things are great, but right now the only thing we really care about is your month and day of birth. Added to the universal 8 will tell you what your personal year is, and that's what you work with. For everyone, regardless of what our personal year is, our umbrella is money, investments, being in charge, being in control, and not being controlled. How does that sound for good?
I like not being controlled. Yes, and taking responsibility, as you mentioned a few seconds ago. Yeah, that sounds like a good formula for this month, which is actually moving, again, very, very quickly. Time is moving so quickly. Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. Yes, and there was such craziness going on in the world today. It's a head-spinning moment. Yeah. A big head-spinning moment. So, anyways, but we have, as you just mentioned, a completely amazing guest tonight. He's been on the show before, but that was years back. And now there is so much progress that has been made. And he is going to share some just amazing things with us about Bigfoot, who he refers to as the forest people. And his first encounter took place in Oregon in the caves now it's got to be over 20 years ago, because I was looking at an older bio. But Dr. Johnson he's just wonderful, because he wants to share what he has learned with everybody so that people can have their own experiences if they want to take what he has learned and use it in their lives, which is a fantastic gift that he is offering to everyone. And he has a couple of great books out, And so we're going to get into all of that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about him. I want to bring him on the show because we have so much to go over. And again, thank you everybody for joining us at this later time. But we had to do it because we really wanted Dr. J with us tonight. So Dr. J, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We're excited.
Yeah, it's our pleasure because we want to hear all of what you know and you have learned through, how many years is it now? Is it over 20?
23
yeah.
years.
Oh, my
Gosh,
goodness. Where's
amazing.
the time gone?
I know, really. But you've made the most of it because you have come to some incredible understanding, some profound depths of understandings about Bigfoot and who you call the forest people. So you can start wherever you'd like. I want to get through as much as we can because I know we've had such a great interest in this show tonight and bringing you on. So feel free to just start in and go for it. We'll interrupt you and ask questions, but we want to hear where you want to start.
Okay, plus you'll queue up audios when I ask for it?
Yes, I have them all loaded here. So, yes.
Awesome. Okay. So just in case you have listeners that have never heard of me before, I think it's important to give just a couple-minute quick overview of background.
Sure.
So they know who I am and what got me here. So my name is Dr. Matthew Johnson. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've been working in the mental health field for 41 years. On July 1st of 2000, my family and I took a tour through the Oregon Caves National Monument, and then most people come out of the caves and go back down to the main area, but we turned the other direction and started hiking up the mountain on the Big Tree Loop Trail and got about a mile up the mountain, and then we smelled something really bad. We had just moved down 6 months earlier from Alaska, where I lived for 20 years. I ended up in Alaska because I went there to play basketball on a scholarship to the university and got to play college ball against Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Clyde Drexler, Akeem Olajuwon, James Worthy, all those guys. So anyway, was up in Alaska for 20 years, hiking, fishing, camping, a little bit of hunting, very familiar with the outdoors, not afraid of the outdoors. I know what a bear looks like, and I know what they smell like. So we're smelling this, and it's like, that's not a bear. It's really weird, but it's not a bear. We keep walking, and then we're being paralleled by something in the tall brush and the trees. And then we hear a deep bass, whoa, whoa, whoa. And we stop, and it stops. We walk, it keeps going. And eventually, the kids at that time were ages 9, 7, and 5. They needed to stop, take a break. They were playing with a bug on the path with a stick. Mother Nature was knocking on my door, so I hiked up the left side of the trail into the broken trees to go do my thing. And when I finished and, pulling pants back up, zipping things back up, I'm looking down the slope, I see my wife watching the kids. And on her backside, down the slope below her, I see Bigfoot walking, and it comes behind a tree, and like my whole brain just crashed. It just, everything I knew about the outdoors came crashing down, and then I literally felt my brain reboot, and then I had to run down that hill through the brush and trees, get to the path, get up to my family, and move them along. Let's go, move. And they're like, chill out, dude. And I'm like, go now. And that's not my normal MO. That's not my normal behavior, but they knew something was up. So we started moving up the trail, went up a couple hundred yards around a switchback, a little bit farther. Nothing's following us, not seeing anything. And what I had seen at that time was a very tall, huge, buff Bigfoot. I'm almost 7 feet tall. What I saw, dwarfed me. It was probably about 11 feet tall. And so I set the kids down on the log, pulled my wife aside. You're not going to believe what I saw. And she said, what? And I said, I saw Bigfoot. And she said, I believe you. And because she smelled it, she heard it. She knew I wouldn't lie. And so we eventually got ourselves off the mountain. We were scared to death, but in reality, nothing, we weren't in danger. It was just curious. But we didn't know that then. And so we got down, we made a report. The report that was heard around the world, it was in newspapers everywhere, been on 15 TV shows, on over 300 plus radio interviews. And then I had a decision to make. Do I let this scare me out of the woods, or do I get back up on the horse, get in there, and find out who these beings are, and grab them by the scruff of the neck, drag them out for the whole world to see, so I can show that they're real and I'm not crazy. So that began my 23-year journey of researching. And I'll stop for a moment and see if you have any questions before I just give a little bit more background.
No, that's an amazing experience, and it did shift your life completely. Mm-hmm. So it's powerful, very powerful. But go ahead, go on from there.
Definitely, very fascinating.
Okay. Well, right away, I had a lot of people who applauded the fact that I had the courage to speak out publicly, given the fact that I'm a professional with a private practice, so I was putting everything on the line, to be honest and truthful and share the information. And then there are a bunch of trolls and haters and yahoos that I didn't know anything about back then, but I immediately had a target on my back because I was getting all the media attention and they weren't. And some idiots were like, well, he's just making this up so, he can build up his business. And I'm like, yeah. That's a good marketing strategy.
Yeah,
Come
right.
see the psychologist that claims he saw Bigfoot. You guys got a point there. Great call. People don't even think through what they say when they're trolling you. It was just kind of silly. So anyway, first 10 years of research, I did the old school method. Matt Moneymaker took me under his wing, and I had other people that were, teaching me, and that's the big Bobo screams and whacking trees with sticks or baseball bats and putting out all the electronic equipment. And the reality was, in 10 years' time, we got a whole lot of tracks out of the ground. We had some visuals. We had some screams back, but that was pretty much it. They were always keeping their distance. And we also had bait piles out, and emphasis on bait pile because they were dumb giant mountain apes, right? That's the theoretical belief that they're descendants of Gigantopithecus, which I might add, they created Gigantopithecus out of one tooth and a partial jawbone in a cave in China, and all of a sudden they've constructed this big giant mountain ape, and then they're postulating that Bigfoot is a descendant of this big giant mountain ape that they created out of one tooth and a partial jawbone out of a cave in China. It's like, so I believe it. What else? I didn't know anything, so sure. Okay, I'm on board with that. So I put out bait piles for the big dumb giant mountain ape. And we put video cameras on it, and they had infrared light, right? So when we had the light on, they wouldn't hit the bait piles. When we turned the cameras off, they hit the bait piles. When we turned the cameras on, they wouldn't hit the bait piles. When we turned the cameras off, they'd hit the bait piles. But when
Smart.
they hit, they would take they could see the infrared light is what was going on.
Yeah, exactly.
They knew when they were on. And so they took the bananas, they peeled the bananas, they ate the bananas and put the peelings together in a pile. Then they took the corn, they husked the corn, they snapped the corn off at the base, and they would eat the corn off the cob. They would put the husk in one pile and the corn cobs in another pile. They were very neat and meticulous.
Huh.
But after 10 years of that, it was like, I'm thinking of like Peter Byrne, who put 50 years in, and what did he get out of it? Nothing. He got nothing out of it because he did the same thing for 50 years. So what Peter Byrne did for the rest of us, and kind of, I'm not going to pull any punches, what Finding Bigfoot, the TV show, did for the rest of us was show us how not to do it. That's what they did for us. You know, thank you, Peter Byrne. Yeah, we know how not to do it. Thank you, crew of Finding Bigfoot. We know how not to do it. Thank you very much. Because they never found Bigfoot, so they gave us, 10 seasons or whatever of how not to do it right. So good job. The one nice thing, to be fair, though, out of the Finding Bigfoot TV show was the fact that they did bring communities together, and they did open up the ability and the willingness to talk openly about the subject matter. So that show helped a lot along those lines, getting people to talk about it.
Right,
they
that's
just
good.
didn't actually show us how to find Bigfoot. Okay, so I decided, I'm a psychologist, I'm a problem solver, and I decided, you know what? I did this for 10 years. Didn't work. If it doesn't work, fix it. And so I'm going to do something else. So then I did some research, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to adopt the North American Native Indian perspective that they're not a dumb giant mountain ape. They're actually a forest people. And they're actually possibly forest people / spiritual beings. I'm going to look at this differently. So then I begged, borrowed, and stole concepts of Dr. Jane Goodall, the chimp lady, her habituation method. And I started putting food out in gifting bowls. Now, note, I changed from bait piles for dumb giant mountain apes to gifting bowls for forest people. I changed my belief system, and I changed my approach, and I took the cameras down. I didn't try to capture them, and I kept putting these gifting bowls out about 150 feet away from the base camp behind trees and brush so they could eat in privacy, and it took them 5 years to take the food.
Oh, my
goodness.
5 years.
5 years.
I'd put it out at sunset. I'd pick it up at sunrise, and I'd put fruit. I'd put vegetables. I'd put meats and nuts and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And after 5 years of persistence, playing music, talking to them, being respectful, they finally started taking the food. And keep in mind, I had met my wife at our 30th high school reunion, and I eventually moved to Washington State. So now I'm driving 8 hours one way, 8 hours back, 16 hours round trip. I'm doing that twice a month, and I'm spending anywhere from $600 to $800 a trip to go up into the mountains in southern Oregon to keep my research going. Now,
that's a commitment.
Trolls and haters
that's amazing.
That's a patient
Well,
wife.
yeah, it is. And the trolls and haters would say, he's hoaxing and stuff. Are you kidding me? I'm driving 16 a month, spending probably close to $1,500 a month, and I'm doing that because I'm hoaxing? No, I'm doing that because I'm getting real interaction. So now, after they started taking the food, I realized I'm a little slow learner, I guess, but I realized they're not really taking the fruit. They're not taking the vegetables. They're not taking the meat. They're not taking the candy. They're not taking the nuts. I mean, they would a little bit, but not much. They're taking the bread products. And then I realized with the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because I had to do this several times, they would only take creamy peanut butter with raspberry jam and wheat bread. They would not take white bread. They would not take crunchy peanut butter, and they wouldn't take any other kind of jam. This particular family group was really picky, and they wanted wheat bread, creamy peanut butter, and raspberry jam.
No kidding. Well, they knew what they wanted. Yeah.
Yep. And then I realized, hey, take advantage of this. So I started putting surgical gloves on, cleaning the bowls out, putting the bread products in the bowls, putting them out 150 feet away from camp at sunset. And then pick them up in the morning with gloves on, surgical gloves on, and bring them back. And if there were any thumbprints, fingerprints, palm prints, it wasn't me, and it wasn't the people with me, it was them.
Oh.
So we were collecting fingerprints and palm prints and handprints, and my wife works for a large law enforcement agency in the state of Washington, and she took these fingerprints and palm prints and handprints, not only from the gifting bowls, but the windows on our vehicles parked in the base camp, and their fingerprint expert at this large law enforcement agency was like, whoa. He's like, I've never seen this before, and his hobby was to go to the zoo in Seattle and take prints off the primates there, and he was like, I've never seen this before with humans or primates. He said, this is unique. What is this? And then he looked at my wife, and before she could answer, he said, Bigfoot. Yep, bingo.
Wow.
Bingo, Bigfoot. And so anyway, I started, instead of doing the all aggressive in-your-face technology, which I told you I discarded when I made the change 13 years ago, I did start using passive technology. I used a bionic air parabolic microphone dish, put it on top of the car, and recorded all night long. So I'd record for 8 to 10 hours at a time. And then I would go home, and I'd have to listen to 8 to 10 hours of recordings. And if I was there for 3 nights or a week, that's 8 to 10 hours every night. So I'm not only driving round trip 16 hours, I'm not only spending $1,500 a month on this, but I'm also listening to hundreds of hours of audio recordings. And
Dr.
I'd like
J,
you
let
to
me
cue
ask
up
you
number 2.
a quick question here. Just for a second,
Yes.
It's a brief question, but obviously you have this amazing devotion to creating contact, real contact with the Bigfoot forest people. Where do you think that comes from? I mean, you had this desire that was pretty overpowering. Where do you think that got going for you?
I know where that's coming from, but it's premature to say that right now.
Okay.
If we're going to stick to a chronological timeline, it's
go for it.
I'll say that towards the end of our interview.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Sure.
I'd like you to cue up number 2, pretty please.
Okay, let me. Now I have that based on how you titled them. So let's see.
Oh, you don't have it based on the number. Okay, let's see. The
no,
title
I have
Whispering Adolescent Bigfoot.
Okay.
Number 2, Whispering Adolescent Bigfoot.
Okay, they're in here. Okay, here it is.
Okay, so that was in May of 2012, 11 years ago. And at that time, my son was 5 years old, Grady, and we were in the tent with another friend. We spent the night. Grady knew we were recording, so he was very quiet. He was a good kid. And the sunlight came up, and he had to go potty, and he wakes me up, Daddy, I have to go potty. And I said, okay, unzip the tent, go outside, sit on the porta potty, do your thing. Then he comes back in about 30, 45 seconds later, said, Dad, I can't lift the water jug. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, Grady, because, it's a 5-gallon water jug. He's only 5. He can't lift that. So I said, I'll be out in just a minute. So I come out and I help him use water in the toilet, and he does his thing. Well, I get home, like I told you, I record, and so I come home and I'm listening to the audio, 8, 10 hours of audio, and I catch this. This is my first recording of a spoken language, Ego Y8. The adolescent is whispering, Ego Y8. And talked with a friend who grew up in a Klamath Falls Indian tribe in southern Oregon, said that was similar to their word for urinate, and Grady was going out of the tent to urinate. And so if you could play that one more time, Ego Y8.
Yeah, that's very clear.
Excuse me. The next one I want you to play is a female juvenile squatch talking. It's number 3.
Okay.
Female juvenile squatch. Okay, so what that is, every night in base camp in the pitch dark, we had no light. We had no lanterns, no flashlights, no campfires. We were in a cul-de-sac at a dead-end logging road surrounded by brush and trees. So we were like fish in a fishbowl, and they could come around us in the brush and trees and kind of keep hidden. And we would stand up front by the 12 o'clock position on the perimeter, and I would take my hand and tap my chest and say, my name is Matt. Matt. My name is Matt. What's your name? And then I'd have my guests do that. And then one of my guests, he asked, can you tell us your name, specifically for the young female Sasquatch that we nicknamed Chatty Cathy, because she talks a whole lot. We have a whole lot of recordings of her talking a whole lot. And so now, you hear us sleeping. We're breathing heavily because we're sleeping on our cots, and she comes to the foot of my friend's cot to answer his question. She gives up her name. Nipkia is her name. Go ahead and play it again.
Okay.
Okay, just so your audience knows and just so you two know, she didn't say that 3 times. I looped it 3 times just so you didn't have to replay it 3 times.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's very clear.
She only said it once, but Nipkia, clear, yes. They have a spoken language. Okay, and so far, that's like really cool, really interesting. And then this same trip, it was 20 above zero. Okay, so we're up there in our cots, in our sleeping bags. We wake up in the morning. There's ice on all the trees. There's ice on us. It is cold. And we go out and we retrieve the gifting bowls. And then I got to pull the keys out of my pocket and unlock the Suburban so we can start the engine and warm up so we don't die because we were cold. And so we get in there, and the parabolic microphone dish is still on top of the Suburban recording. We get inside, we close the doors, I get the Suburban started, the engine's idling, the heater's on, and then when I get home, I hear what happened outside the Suburban while we were inside the Suburban warming up. So if you can play the clip that says Matt, Matt, Matt while Suburban is idling, number 4.
Okay, I've got it right here.
I think he was concerned that I was going to drive away with the parabolic microphone dish on top of the Suburban, but he was clearly calling my name, Matt, Matt, Matt.
Yes, there is no doubt. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So now we're going to fast forward. That was 2012. Now we're going to fast forward 2 years up to 2014, June of 2014. I have Adam Davies and his friend John Carlson come to camp. A lot of people out there know who Adam Davies is. He's a Brit, and he's been on a lot of TV shows with cryptozoology type stuff. Nice guy. His buddy John Carlson, nice guy. This is when the portal was discovered at the Southern Oregon habituation area. They accidentally kind of stumbled into the area and opened it up. But they were up all night. I had to sleep because I was driving everybody around during the day, so I had to sleep. They were concerned we were all going to die because the guardians of the portal were kind of pushing them back to stay away from the portal. And I had been up there 8 years already. I'd be dead already, so I wasn't worried. So anyway, they take a nap. We go out and get the gifting bowls. We put them on the table by the 12 o'clock position on the perimeter. And then we all climb. We're all tired. We all climb back into our sleeping bags on our cots. You know, it's morning time, but we're sleepy, and we go back to sleep and take a nap. Now, on that table next to the parabolic microphone dish was a box of 4 Cinnabon rolls. And
Yum.
So there was Adam, there was John, there was me, and there was my son Grady. And Grady was 7 years old now. And so we're napping, and we wake up, and breakfast was going to be those 4 Cinnabon rolls. So we go over to the table, we open up the box, which is on the table, and the 4 rolls are gone.
Whoa.
They're gone.
They wanted them
like,
bad.
What critter or what bird would open up a box, take all 4 rolls, and leave the box on the table with the lid closed?
Exactly.
And so I go home, I listen to the audio because this all happened right next to the parabolic microphone dish. And so if you could play Ah De Welu, okay, number 7.
Got it.
De Welu.
Okay.
What you're going to hear is how excited they are, and you'll hear De Welu. After a couple of them talk, they say their words in Squatchinese, and then the guy sings De Welu, which in Squatchinese means score. We got the Cinnabon rolls. Okay, so go ahead and play that, pretty please.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
That really is.
Fabulous.
Gosh.
So
amazing.
far, what we're getting in these recordings is their language, which I call Squatchinese. Okay. But time passes, and now it's 2016, late summer of 2016. Okay, so this is 7 years ago. And the exodus occurred during June of 2016 at a new research area because the trolls busted SOA, the Southern Oregon habituation area, in December of 2015. And because one of the people I brought up there threw me under the bus, and they put the coordinates online so the whole world could go up there.
Oh, no.
And it felt like a gut punch. My wife and I cried. And then I got a mind speak from the Janu saying, you know, don't worry, we're leading you to a new place. And I'm like, okay. So through a series of events, including orbs, trees being pushed over, whistles, and tree knocks, we ended up at our new research area. And make a long story short, if people want to know more about the Exodus, because I don't want to take all that time up on this interview, they can go to my YouTube channel, which is Team Squatchin, SQUATCHIN. Not ING, just IN.
Okay.
Team Squatchin USA.
Great.
And then they can watch the 4-part video series, The Great Reveal, by Dr. Matthew Johnson, and they can learn about the Exodus. So now into summer 2016, we're up in the research area. I am sleeping, and I record Zorth, and it says, Zorth says, hail to my son. If you could cue that up, number 9. He says, hail to my son.
Okay, I'm looking for that. I have, let's see.
Zorth says, hail to my son.
Yeah, for some reason I am not seeing it. I'm seeing a Soya. The whole sky is red. Tracon. But I'm not seeing that one.
It would be before that. It would be, if you saved them all in the order that I sent them, it would be before that. It would say Soya, S-O-I-A, Soya, S-O-I-A, hyphen, Zorth says, hail to my son.
Oh, it is Zoya. Okay, I've got it right here. All righty, here we're going to go and play it.
So he goes, hail to my son, and I'm like, okay, what's going on with Mogdu? Nothing. Well, Mogdu is Zorth's oldest son. Well, okay, what's going on with Tuqua? That's his next oldest son. And I said, what are you saying, hail to my son? He said, that's for you. And I said, what? I said, you and my mama didn't, no. No. He said, that was an adoption ceremony. Adopted you. You're my adopted son.
Oh, sweet.
Which was pretty cool. So he kind of sealed the adoption with hail to my son.
Oh, my God. What an honor.
Definitely.
So now, before I keep going, I want to, pause and give an opportunity for any questions.
Yeah, I think it's very clear. Everything you're saying and is about the fact that they communicate. But here is my question in listening to these communications. It sounds, some of the background sounds are very interesting. What is that coming from? Do you know?
So you need to keep in mind that we're out in the wilderness, so there's a lot of bird sounds and crickets and all that kind of stuff at night or in the morning. And then you also need to keep in mind that some of the stuff is recorded at a distance. So I'm not an audio expert, but I know enough to use a audio editing file to amplify the sound. Amplify to bring it in closer. But when you do, then you got all the white noise. So then you have to clean that up, and when you clean it up, then it gets a little tinsel sound. So
it just sounds to me like it's
weird.
Coming from another reality. It's what it was sounding like to me, which I thought was really incredibly cool. But it had that sound to it of that it was moving.
So let me help you out with that.
Okay.
Okay. Visually, we can only see so much. So if you put your right hand, your left up in front of your face, and there's, between the distance between your left hand and your right hand, that's what we can see. Beyond your right hand and beyond your left hand, you can't see. There's stuff there. You just can't see it. Now, the eyes of dogs and cats are different, and they can see stuff that we cannot see. So if, your dog or your cat tearing something down, or the dog's growling or barking at something, what are you barking at? There's nothing there. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. They can see it. You can't. And then cameras can capture them. So you take your cameras out, and your cameras can capture them. Dogs can see them. Cats can see them. Cameras can capture them. And what's going on there is they're vibrating at a higher frequency than we do. So, if they slow their vibrational frequency down, they're solid matter like you and me, right? It's like standing before a small plane, and the propeller isn't moving. You can see it. But when you start the prop, when the vibration frequency is increasing, now it's a little harder to see the prop. And when it's at full speed, you can't see the prop. But I guarantee you, stick your hand out there, you're going to find out that the prop is still there, even though you can't see it.
Right.
Now, the same thing is true with sound. We can only hear this much between the left hand and the right hand. But there's stuff beyond the left hand and the right hand that we can't hear that is there. And so the parabolic microphone dish hooked up to the Sony digital recorder can pick it up. So sometimes when they talk, they can be right next to you. You can't hear them, but the recorder picks them up. Or sometimes, depending on how they change things up, they could be right next to you and talk, and you actually do hear them. And then sometimes you hear them inside your head.
So that's called mind speak, right? That's what you named it?
Well, no, I'm talking about an audio voice inside your head. Mind speak is kind of like thought insertion. Mind speak is like there's a thought in your head, not a voice, not a sound. It's a thought, but it's not your thought.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
And
well,
that
thank you
takes
for
a lot of work. That takes a lot of work to figure out what's your thought and what's their thought.
Yeah, that is a lot of work, a lot of insight to know the difference. Excellent. Well, that was my question, so thank you for answering it.
You're welcome. One key to knowing the difference is, you know, if I'm outside and I'm looking at the view from the backside of our house, we live on top of a mountain with an incredible view, I'll think in my head, it's a beautiful day. What a beautiful view. If they do a mind speak, they'll go, you know, don't you think it's a beautiful day? Look at that view. And, you know, that's not me.
Yes.
That's not the way I would word it. Right.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of backyards, number 10, Bigfoot Scream in Backyard. Can you play that?
Yes, I can. Let me just move the... Okay, you guys move this so I can get that one. I have a long list here.
Fascinating.
Bigfoot Scream, is that the one?
Yeah, in Backyard, yes.
Here you go.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Now, when you hear that, let me just ask you: does that go right through you? I mean, that is a powerful scream.
It was a powerful scream, and yeah, you can feel it. Sounds like what?
A train whistle, like a train coming down.
Play it again. Play it again. That is not a train whistle.
No,
play it again.
I know it isn't, but it's incredible, absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I always joke and say it could be a squirrel, maybe a deer. You know.
It's a big one.
Yeah. The next one I would like you to play, pretty please, is melodic scream. And a closer response. That's number 11. And these both happen the same night, about 10 minutes apart.
Okay, I've got it. So that was obviously more than one, right? Several?
Yes. The first one was Khan2. He's the clan leader. The second one, the scream, the Bigfoot scream, that was Khan2. The melodic scream was his wife, Saria. And so she did the melodic scream, and then the response back was Con-2.
Oh, okay.
My goodness.
Incredible.
Now, it gets more fun. Go ahead. You have a question?
Go ahead. No, that's all right. Do you want to play another one?
Yeah, I'm going to want you to cue up Storia-Agathos, number 13. But I want to explain it real quick before you play it.
Okay, go ahead. I've got it ready.
Okay, so one night, Cynthia and I are out in the backyard at our previous property. It's just her and I. Nobody else is over. We host camps every summer where we have up to 30, 40 people come to a camp, and we do that 5 times every summer. But this particular night it was just Cynthia and myself. And so we're out there in the dark. We're playing music. We're talking. And we're also whining to each other about how rough the week was. Work and, haters and trolls in the Bigfoot world and just wah, 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 wah. Okay? And we had our cots set up and we're done. So we go inside the house to go to the bathroom, brush our teeth, grab our pillows, and come back outside and climb in our sleeping bags and go to sleep. Well, I had the parabolic microphone dish going, the recorder going, while we're in the house. Maria, who did that melodic scream that you just played,
yes,
she walks over to the parabolic microphone dish while we are inside the house. And she gives us a gentle, loving butt kicking.
Okay, you want me to play it now?
No, I want to explain what she's saying.
Okay.
She starts off by using a Greek word, agathos. Okay? Agathos is Greek for God is good. So she starts off with agathos, God is good. And then she says in English, oh, come, you should be positive about living with us.
Oh, my.
Go ahead and play it.
Okay. Oh, my God. There was no mistaking that.
No.
Agathos, oh, come, you should be positive. One more time, pretty please.
Oh, amazing.
She almost sounds like she has a bit of a British accent. I mean, that was a very formal sentence,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So now they've gone from dumb giant mountain ape to forest people to, and they refer, just so we're clear, just so your listeners are clear, they're known by many different names all over the world by many different cultures. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Yowie, Grassman, Oma, Sabe, etc. But just so we're clear, and they, because of the Exodus, they designated me as being their 13 to the Janu Council of 12, and the Janu Council of 12 consists of two members from each habitable continent. And so they designated me as a 13, and they told me, and I'm supposed to educate everybody else, that they refer to themselves as the Janu. They don't care if people call them all these other names, but they just want everybody to know they call themselves the Janu. That's their name, Janu. An emphasis on the second syllable, Janu. Okay? Now, with that said, I don't know if I want to do that one yet. We're going to have to save that for a different show.
Okay.
And to get the next one up. I only sent you 3 sets of audio clips, it looks like. Okay, you know what? We're going to do this. I don't care if it ticks off some of your listeners, because it's kind of political, but it's the position that the Janu have taken. So let me give a little background before we play this. The Janu have always been watchers. They've always been neutral with the affairs of mankind. They have never interfered. It's almost like the prime directive in Star Trek. But with the way things are going and the recent battle between good and evil, the black hats and the white hats, the good guys versus the cabal, the New World Order, they've decided to take a side. And they're taking the side of the good guys, the white hats. And so on election night of November 3rd, 2020, when Trump was winning, Zorth, the head of the Council of 12, my adopted father, mine spoke with me, and he said, I want you to post right now, in the end, Trump wins. And I'm like, good call, Zorth. Way to go out on a limb, buddy. He is already winning. What are you talking about? I want you to post, in the end, Trump wins. Okay, fine, I'll post it. In the end, Trump wins. Are we good? Yes, thank you. Next morning, Biden wins. Like, what the heck? How did that happen? And we all know how that happened.
Oh, we sure do.
And it's all going to come out in the near future how that happened. But so shortly after that, I got a recording outdoors, and so we'll have you cue up the first one. Oh, wait. Okay, I guess what we'll have you do is just, it's a compilation of everything, so I got to say it real quick. It says number 30, President Trump, compilation. So what they say is Trump bad boy, not as in negative or evil bad, but as in badass, as in really good. So they go Trump bad boy, and then the next one says, I like that president. And then another Janu speaks up and says, I love him.
And this is the President Trump compilation, right?
Yep.
Okay, here it comes.
That's pretty clear. Trump bad boy. I like that president. I love him.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Okay, so election night, he's winning. Post, in the end, Trump wins, even though he was winning. So Zorth already knew what was going to happen. So that's why he wanted me to post it when he was winning, because I guarantee you, Zorth has never been wrong. With anything he's ever told me about what's going to happen, he has never, ever been wrong. Okay? And he's not wrong about this. In the end, Trump is going to win. Now, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. So now let's cue up the next one, which is number 32. Watch that red square group.
Okay.
I recorded this in the backyard. Watch that red square group.
Are you ready for me to play it?
Yep. Okay, now, before we play it again, is it possible to turn the volume up a little bit? Because I could barely hear that. And what's being said is, watch that red square group, and then you hear, in almost kind of a singing tone, yes, the red square is coming. So watch that red square group. Yes, the red square is coming. Go ahead and try it again.
just move the volume up a little, but it was up almost all the way. Here we go.
Okay. Could you hear that?
Yes, I could hear it.
Okay, so last but not least, if you could cue up number 31, the whole sky is red. Okay, so that was recorded the night after. So the first night, watch that red square group. Yes, the red square is coming. Then the next one is the whole sky is red. So I asked Zorth, what the heck is that about? And he said, if America falls into civil war, the United States will be attacked by the red square group. The red square is coming. The red square group consists of Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. So we cannot fall into civil war while we're in the midst of all this chaos, or else the red square is going to be coming. The whole sky is red. So we need to not fall into civil war. We need to not let them divide us by race, by sexual preference, by religion, by anything and everything they use us to get us to go after each other. We can't allow that to happen. We cannot fall into civil war. The ingenus, if you haven't picked up on it yet, have the ability to look down multiple timelines into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. This is
and
very,
that is how Zorth was able to predict that in the end Trump wins.
Gosh, I hope it's sooner rather than later. And I like the fact that they're very specific. You know, they're talking about very specific things. Don't let the United States fall into civil war, or if you do, this is what's going to happen. I mean, that is a very specific piece of advice.
Yep.
Which is so helpful. So helpful.
If people listen.
Well, yeah, people listen. Your audience needs to know that the few audio clips that we played tonight are just the tip of 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 the iceberg of hundreds and hundreds of audio recordings that I have.
Fascinating.
It's just
amazing.
Great. You've done such great work, Dr. J. You know, keeping track of all of this, being so consistent, and you know, doing this over so many years to bring us this level of communication and friendship that you have with them. It actually goes beyond friendship because you were made an honorary son. So it's so appreciated, really. We appreciate everything you've done.
Definitely. At least we know there's hope. That's the most important thing.
There is hope, and that in the end Trump wins thing is going to happen before 2024 voting.
Really?
The election in
that's
November
fantastic
2024.
news.
So, well, no. See,
great.
I told you it's going to get worse. I told you it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yes.
You see that right now with the way the college kids are reacting to things that are taking place. It's just they don't know who they really have an infinity for, except for garbage that they're putting out there themselves right now. Scary. They don't even know what they're doing.
Well, then we also have all these sleeper cells that are here, let in by the Biden regime.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, they have the southern border opened up, and I have friends that work for ICE, and a lot of young military-age men coming over from the Middle East and from China. There's sleeper cells all over the country, and they're waiting for the green light. And when that happens, we're going to get hit all over the place. And then hopefully the people that, wanted Biden and open borders are going to be kicking themselves in the butt for having that open door policy. And we're going to have a lot of Americans die because of it. It is going to get worse before it gets better.
Oh,
but
definitely.
The good news is that when they hit, the military is going to be activated. And when the military gets activated, then all the truth about the stolen election, the fraudulent crimes and everything else that have been going on are all going to come out. And the military intelligence has all the data, including the fact that Trump really did win that election, and he will be reinstalled as president. And in the end, Trump wins. And they'll get a handle on all these sleeper cells, but not until after a whole lot of damage has been done and a lot of people have been killed. And then it will get better. Because in the end, when Trump wins, we win, America wins, God wins, we all win. But it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, when they're watching the young men coming across the border, like anywhere from 100 at a time, young men, no women with them, no children with them, and they're all of, quote, military age. Scary. And nobody's paying attention.
Yep.
Well, we're paying attention. And there are a lot of people that are paying attention, but there doesn't seem to be a clear path to ousting the people that are causing this trouble and making these decisions on purpose to do these horrible things to us. So it's really frustrating.
It's going to come out, though.
It will. That's fantastic. Fantastic news. I'm happy to hear it. Not the part about so many people having to die to get conscious about this. But I'll tell you, Dr. J, it's still, PK and I talk about this a lot. We are still stymied by so many people who don't see it, even today. Don't see it, that this is a criminal enterprise. The Bidens are criminals. They are involved in destroying this country and what we hold dear. And, we had a guest on that I told this publicist, don't ever send me another one like it because, there's nothing wrong with Biden. In that airy-fairy voice that's totally ungrounded where you just go, what planet are you on? But, it's like, just look at this. What's happening in Israel is what you're talking about. It's going to happen here. These people that come over the border, terrorists. We're set up for it. Here. So, just
so
awful.
If people are smart, they will start, if they haven't already, they will start storing up non-perishable food, water, guns, ammo, have a bug-out place to go to. If you're in the middle of a large city, not a good idea because those are the targets they're going to attack. We happen to live out in a rural area, far, far away from civilization, and we are the bug-out place for some people. So we'll be well prepared and armed for any possibilities.
That's the only way to be right now.
A lot of Jean on the property. That will help.
Yeah, you sure do. Now, Dr. J, I want to make sure we mention the names of your books and where people can buy them. So I know you have Bigfoot, A 50-Year Journey, Come Full Circle, and you have another one, too, don't you?
Yes. The other one is Jean, How to Befriend Bigfoot Forest People. And they can find both of those books if they go to my website, which is jeannu.com, XANUE, jeannu.com. And if they click on the store, then they'll find the books, and those links will take them to Amazon.com, where they can either buy a print-on-demand book or download it to their Kindle.
Fabulous.
That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to...
And I'd also like to say that we have summer camps every summer, and we'll post some new dates for 2024 after the first of the year, and people can sign up to come to camp for Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. We have people coming from all over the country, Canada, the United Kingdom. So stuff happens there every time. Visuals, audio, orbs, healings, lots of stuff happens. So they could, at that same website, xannu.com, xanue.com, xanue.com, they can click on events and after the first of the year and sign up for camp.
What a great camp. That's the kind of summer camp to go to. Fantastic.
Yeah, I wish I were younger.
I know, really. Dr. J, I wanted to also ask you about what you discovered about the alphabet agencies, and it's important for me to ask you this. I know we have more to talk about with the Xannu and the healings and things like that. We may have to just bring you back again for this. But the reason I want to talk to you about this to our audience tonight is because we do have so many UFO abductees that have had this very same experience that you and Cynthia have gone through and are going through. So can you tell people about how you first found out the alphabet agencies were on your property and what they were up to?
Okay, well, first it started off, and it still continues to this day, that our property is constantly buzzed by Black Hawk military helicopters. And sometimes they hover at night over our garden area by our garage. Keep in mind, just so people can understand, we live on top of a mountain, 61 acres of forested property. And next to us is more forested property. So we're up on a mountaintop in the middle of nowhere. And so the helicopter hovers over our garden area next to our garage and shines a light down on the portal area. And we haven't even begun to talk about portals. That needs to be a new show. So to answer your question, one night, May of 2022, so last year, not May of this year, but May of the previous year, we had a small group of people here, and I had a parabolic microphone dish out recording, and it picked up on these guys are like, what, who, what? And they're like, date night, people here already, oh, it's their house. So they're mocking our house, which is a very large, beautiful log home on top of the mountain. So it starts off with that, date night, people here already, oh, it's their house. And then you pick up, a few minutes later, this guy's talking to somebody on some kind of walkie-talkie or, some kind of communications device, and he's saying, we're surrounded, I don't think we're safe. And the guy on the other end, you can hear him, well, I hope you all do okay. Okay. So then a couple hours later, we're done with the night sit. We go on the other side of the house and to climb into our sleeping bags on the cots, and now I'm recording over there, and, we're sleeping. So during the night while we're sleeping, I record this human female acting like she's in distress, and she's going, oh, help, oh. And then the next thing you hear is a Xannu speaks up and says, watch it, it's a trap. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Oh. And then later on, you hear this human voice, this guy, he says, you really don't want any friendship? So they're on our property, trying to befriend the Xannu. Well, what's interesting is when he says, you really don't want any friendship, the Xannu responds in kind of a Clint Eastwood fashion. Do you feel lucky, punk kind of Clint Eastwood fashion? He goes, shoot me. So you really don't want any friendship? Shoot me. And then another Xannu says, we will fight dirty. Okay, so that's interesting. And then about a half hour later, you hear him down the hill, and they're turning Martin over, who can't feel his legs because he has a spinal injury.
Incredible.
So we've had 3-letter agency operatives on our property, and I have to tell you, 1 + 1 = 2, not 11. 1 + 1 = 2. And when you add up all this information about military Black Hawk helicopters constantly buzzing us, shining a spotlight down on the portal, we have recorded 3-letter agency operatives on the property trying to befriend the Janu. We must be doing something right. We must be over the target. That's why they're here. And if they want to befriend the Janu, right, and they want to pick a place on the planet to go to in order to try to do that, where are they going to go? There's a lot of forests out there. Well, I know.
Right.
Let's go to Mount Cynthias because they're living on their property. They're living on their property. Agathos, God is good. Oh, come, you should be positive about what? About living with us.
Yes.
And we're living with them. So that's why they're here. Because stuff is really happening here.
And they, the Zanu recognized right away that these people were phony balonies, not anybody they'd want to be friends with. Right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
Now, you also, I believe you mentioned in one of your posts a while back about this, that you had also found out that they had broken into your house.
Yeah, 3-letter agency operatives, yes. I'm pretty sure we're bugged. I don't care. You know, I put it all out there anyway. I put it out there on the postings and Facebook, the groups. I put it out there with my YouTube channel that has almost 500 videos. And if your listeners, by the way, want to learn anything about Bigfoot, they should go to my YouTube channel, Team Squatchin USA. Go all the way back to the very oldest first video and start watching from there all the way to the newest video. And I guarantee you everything they need to know about Bigfoot is right there. But I don't care. They could be in the house. They could bug things. I don't care, you know, because I don't hide anything.
No, you don't. You're very forthcoming with all this great information, which makes it, to me, I'm looking in on this and I'm going, God, it's so, to me, I'm offended that they do that. They spend our tax dollars coming onto your property, going into your house, and certainly with some of the UFO abductees that I know, they've been drugged in their own house by these people, which is so just ridiculously invasive and illegal. So, but that has happened, and I don't know if it's continuing to happen, but I find it very similar to some of the things that you guys are going through. You've got a great attitude about it, and you're documenting everything, which is tremendous. But it's, to me, I'm horrified that all of these operatives on the outside are saying, oh, no, these things don't exist. And meanwhile, this is what they're doing. Skulking around your property, trying to befriend the Zanu, and the Zanu are knowing better, than to get involved with people like that. People that are that dishonest.
I sleep good. Cynthia and I sleep good at night. We have 5 or 6 of them around our bed every night, which is a little weird, but you can see their shimmering images, just like when you watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with the Predator, up in the tree, there's shimmering image. There's 6 of them around our bed every night, shimmering image. Zorth comes in to say hello and good night sometimes. And, we have a vaulted ceiling in our bedroom that is probably about 14 feet high. And so he's got plenty of room to stand in there. And we have Janu warriors on the property. They have their own warriors. There's a whole spiritual component to them. They walk by faith in Jesus Christ. They believe in God. I have them recorded praising the Lord. I have them recorded saying, we love him. He's the Messiah, Jesus Christ, on and on and on, including the fact that they scuffle occasionally with the fallen angels, the demons of Satan, who they call the Jujaiko. I mean, what we've gone over tonight, again, is the tip of 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 the iceberg. There's so much more to this, and everyone's still stuck back in kindergarten with descendants of Gigantopithecus and dumb giant mountain ape. And they're anything but that.
Well, you know, Matt, what you've done is the pinnacle of what I've been saying everybody should be doing, that wants to know about aliens, UFOs, whatever. It's they have to do what you're doing. They have to create a kind and respectful relationship. It's not about throwing cameras at them, studying them as if they are ants under the microscope, because that's so disrespectful. It's like looking at lights in the sky and thinking that's the be-all and end-all. It isn't. And it's all about the relationship. And you've mastered that, you and Cynthia both, and some of the people that have come to your camp. It is exactly the right thing to do. So congratulations. You know, we are so happy that you've done this way. You know, it's like you look at Skinwalker Ranch and all of the investigatory equipment they brought in, all of these operatives they brought in, and they didn't get anything at the end of the day. It's like, oh, big surprise. I was surprised.
Yeah, but also what's going on there is a tad bit demonic. And
I've heard
what we have going on here is the flip side of the coin. What we have going on here is, the positive people of faith, beings of faith. Yeah, it's the light side of the force. And, Skinwalker Ranch, I wouldn't want to be anywhere around there. But
it's not a place I'd like to visit
either. When you step on the property here, you feel the love of God.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice, very different. Now, another question I have for you is this. Now, I know you're extremely tall, almost 7 feet, as you said. Cynthia is not, though, right? Cynthia is what, about 5'5", 5'6"?
She's actually 5'8", and a lot of people, when they come to camp and they see her, they go, "You're a lot taller than you look in the picture."
Yes, because I see here, I'm one of them, would have said that.
She's standing next to me.
That's why she looks so much smaller.
That's why she looks so short. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, here's my question. It seems to me that the people like you and Cynthia who have developed relationships with the Sanu are tall. They're taller people. Do you think that there's a reason for that?
Well, we've had lots of people here at camps over the years, and they go back home and, they replicate what we do here, and they get the same results back home that we were getting here. And, they're of all shapes and sizes. They're not all tall. And what really matters is the approach, which you were kind of pointing out earlier. And I would like to point out to the skeptics out there who are stuck in their small little box about scientific proof. And I've often been accused over the last 23 years of not using the scientific method. And, unless you get DNA and blood.
Oops, are you there?
Dropped off.
Yeah, it's strange, though, because he's still on the... You still there, Matt?
Yes. Can you hear me?
You dropped out. Yeah, now we can. You dropped out for a minute.
Okay. So I use a relationship or a relational model, and, you can prove the existence of another sentient being by relating to them, communicating with them, talking with them. You don't have to have DNA. You don't have to kill and bring in a body. All you have to do is create a relational model that other people can replicate, and they are all over the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. there's a big group in the UK using my approach and getting all kinds of good results. So I am using the scientific method, but it's not, blood and DNA. It's proof of the relationship or the existence of the species through developing a relationship that can be replicated, and that is science.
Yes, it is.
Fantastic.
Yes, it is. It's really great, and it's great that you have so many groups throughout the world that are able to do this and get great results and develop their own relationships. And do you find also, Matt, that it takes a lot of forest for people to work and develop a relationship with the Bigfoot and Sanu, or it doesn't matter if there's a huge forest in place when they go to do this?
Okay, so what I haven't told your audience yet, they can learn it on the YouTube videos, and in my books, but I'm going to say something real quick, something that Zorth revealed to me the night before the exodus occurred at the Southern Oregon interaction area. He shared with me that they are all orbs. They are orbs. They are beings of light. They are balls of energy. They're soul, spirit, orb, and they can shapeshift from orb form into full body form. And during the day, the orbs go into the trees and soak up the energy from the sun and the nutrients through the roots in the ground. And when they're charged up, the tree is like their docking station or their charging station. When they're charged up, they pop back out of the trees. So I asked Zorth, how many Janu are there on the planet? He responded to me, how many trees are there on the planet?
Oh, my goodness.
We are greatly outnumbered. We are greatly outnumbered. If you consult the Google gods and type in the question on the Google search engine, how many trees are there on the earth, there's an estimated 4 to 7 trillion trees.
Oh, my goodness. That's kind of comforting.
We're outnumbered. But we're outnumbered by a benevolent being, a God-fearing, God-loving, Christ-following beings that wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, then what about the negative, bad reports about Bigfoot? What about them? Well, that's the Trachon. Can you cue up that, by the way, the audio that says Trachon?
Here it is.
Cue that up, because now we're going to talk about the bad Bigfoot, the Trachon.
Okay, and just so you know, we've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to play this whenever you give me the green light.
Go for it. Okay, so the Trachon at the Southern Oregon interaction area, we're all sleeping, and this records it at night while we're sleeping. There was a big noise that we heard, and then the Trachon goes in a very hateful, disdainful voice, human. And, like, if I could kill you and eat you right now, I would. So if you could play that again.
Yes.
So that's the Trachon. And a Trachon is not a Janu. They're two separate beings. Now, they look similar, but the Trachon is smaller, 6 to 8 feet on the average, 9 feet at the most. They're menacing looking, they're ugly, and they're dangerous. And if a lone hiker, camper, hunter out in the forest comes across a Trachon, they will kill them, eat them, and scatter their bones. They may also kidnap human females from time to time for breeding purposes. And they're the ones that are seen walking on or off of UFOs. So the Janu are adamant they have nothing to do with UFOs. Zorth is very adamant about it. They have nothing to do with UFOs. But the Trachon, they do. And that's a whole nother radio show as to why that happens. So the Janu are good, benevolent, kind, caring, loving, God-fearing, Christ-following beings. And the Trachon are evil. And that explains good Bigfoot, bad Bigfoot, not the same species.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
We have so much to talk about. We haven't even skinned the tip. So if you ever want me back, let me know.
Well, we're going to just have to have you come back. That's all there is to it.
When are you coming back?
Yeah. We're gonna do this again. I mean, this was a different time slot for us, but hey, we made it through.
Thank you. I had to see my clients. If we make arrangements ahead of time, I can plan for doing an earlier radio show.
Yeah, well, this is fine, Dr. J. We so appreciate it, and because we know how busy you are, and it was wonderful to have you with us this evening. Please say hi to Cynthia for us, and we'll be in touch so that we can. Probably we'd have to book another couple of shows with you to at least delve into this a little further.
Can't leave us with these cliffhangers.
Yeah, I know. Well, really, you've given us so many gifts tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's been a delight.
Well, it is our pleasure. We'll be back in touch, and everybody will be having Dr. J on again. So get ready. If you have any questions, send them in ahead of time if you'd like, or call in next time we have Dr. J on the show. So next week, everybody, we're going to have your friend and ours, Tom Dongo, is joining us again. And the week after that, we have a very special guest, a medical doctor, who's coming in to talk about his experience in the hospital. So we cannot wait to have more guests and also to have Dr. J join us again. So we'll make sure to book him again soon. In the meantime, everybody, we hope that you stay safe. And until then, we will see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.